I am Mustansir Dalvi, and I'm very happy to be included in Vinita Agarwal's lovely anthology, Open Your Eyes, Poems and Prose on Climate Change. Thank you, Vinita, for inviting me to read my poem from this book, as well as some other poems. And thank you also, Gayatri of the Brown Critique, for organizing this little event. I have two other books in English, and they are Brouhahas of Cocks and Cosmopolitician, both of which are published by Poetryfilm. My publishers are the fabulous Smruti and Heman Divte, and I'm so happy that they have also now started the Poetryfilm Foundation, which will be a wonderful place for poets in India and abroad to come together. I will begin by reading three poems from my first collection, Brouhahas of Cocks, that address the notion of the changing climate. My first poem is The Last Dinosaur Roams Mathiran. The allusion here is to the devastating impact of climate change that followed the great explosion and the great volcano that led to the creation of the Deccan Traps, which I can see from my window just outside here. This happened 65 million years ago and is considered one of the great cataclysmic climatic events. So I just read the poem. The last dinosaur roams Mathiran. Prabal's face is warm and throbs like a heart in remission. If I scratch its blackened crust, I can unearth the bones of my fathers. Carpals and spines endure despite the great cremation. Each morning I stoke the fire kept alive since the reign of elements. I carry embers in my craw and offer them to Ishanya, the glow beyond new hills, where the sun used to be. Stay still, be happy. Sporadic showers spit 1,000,000 droplets that steep the earth, each with a fleck of carbon black. My ancestors return in the falling ash. I mold mud pies of my manes for immersion in the sea that died. I have walked from Mathiran to the Maghreb and found no beachhead, only a mirage of expectation, wherein the miasma of ocean and dusk, I track shadows going about their daily karma, coming home to nest in synchronous flocks. They notice me occasionally and smile. My next poem also concerns continental drift, where even before the earth kind of stabilized in the way that it is today, the movement of the crust led to climatic events of many, many kinds. This next poem is called Goodbye Gondwana Land. On quaking plate, moving home, the ground beneath seeks a mate. Born on water, lava buoyed, the float gnashes molars against ancient crust. Weaned from a mother's breast, a continent shifts on a predestined course. Life goes on, above the mastication in nonchalant evolution. The big boned are blind to the picture unfolding just beyond brain stem. Nipple bearers run, seek careers between lumbering legs. This their big chance. Land ho, the north horizon once taut, now blemished with advancing ridge. Dust of lands commingle, spew mollusks. Life is thrust into the ionosphere. Rama's Bridge. This is a poem which is closer to our own time and was written in 2004 after the devastating tsunami of 26th January. Rama's Bridge, 26/12/2004, Dawn. The dry-throated sun sucked in the sea. Old shoals emerged quickly, glistening like the up-ended jawbone of a crocodile, trailing saliva into barnacled gums. The bridge to Lanka was re-established, laid bare to us like largesse, we who lived in diurnal desperation on the pucker of Rameshwaram, with spare nets routing our shanties, since the heady days of Rama's return with bride and booty. The sea floor yielded like a tell, artifacts pushed out of squelching sand. Oh, the riches revealed to us. Oh, the legacy of our once and future king. Our scientists were the first to rush in, while our archaeologists dug to lay bare the efforts of Nala and his day gang. Every bone washed clean by seawater was confirmed as simian. The helpers of Rama preserved with the Treta Yuga in bottled aeons. We scrambled over the limestone and splashed through shallows like rampant Vanarsena. Many gathered their meager estates to embark on the slippery trudge 18 miles south-southeast to Mannar in the Serendip, home paradise of the once vanquished Ravana, brought down by the coalition of the righteous, our side of course. Rama willed us this day, asking the sea to fall back. We expressed our gratitude, planting saffron pennants fore and aft. Rectitude was on our side as we hastened into the recession to claim the rights of history. Was it supposed to happen this way? We were hard pressed to comprehend the retribution of the Lankadish, who blinked his eye to expand his kingdom all the way to ours with rolling bastions of sea, quenching his wrath once and for all by allowing water to seek its own level. To end, I would like to read my poem, which is included in Vinita's anthology, Open Your Eyes. And this poem alludes to, or rather was written in 2019 when we had an occasion to visit the backwaters of Kerala, and we saw devastation of flooding that had lingered on from more than a year back. This poem is called Backwatera Illa, which means no more backwaters. The concrete soffit of the bridge screeches over the dome of the number 4 Kettuvallam like a cormorant denied shallows. The boat barely makes it under the Venattukadu bridge connecting the Manimala to the canal. The Vembanad is a drop of mercury on a glass plane, wobbly, tumescent, grey, seeking fission from the nimbostratus, bulging uncertainly over it. I realize I have stretched the metaphor, but for Verghese, captain of the houseboat, it does not go far enough. The lake's surface is new, upraised, a mezzanine on dodgy supports, rising over unpunctuated horizon. Gestalts of land and water no longer apply. Monochrome makes even GPS unreliable. I abandon it, place my trust entirely on Verghese's hand memory. He does so too, his eyes useless to differentiate grey from grey. Crows make pit stops on the bow. There are no other perches on offer. The boatman waves them off reluctantly. Brahminis vie with kingfishers for measly pickings. Familiar fishing pools are obscured, the currents too fast for victuals to remain in one place. I ask Varghese about home. He looks at me, our eyes meet. Then he turns back on his wheel. Backwater illa, only water. His voice fades, but he stays on the straight and narrow, port and starboard equidistant between drowned paddy fields. Thank you so much.